Drivers, start your engines.
May in Indianapolis. A timeless tradition that uniquely links Indiana to the world. Power, passion, pageantry, and economic horsepower. It's time to buckle in for Business at the Brickyard.
And Joseph Newgarden finally wins the Indianapolis 500.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and Liuna.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gerry Dick, coming to you this week from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we'll be coming to you every week during the month of May with our special Business at the Brickyard series. It is a look inside the numbers, the economic impact that motorsports has on the state of Indiana, from the world's greatest race course to race teams, suppliers, vendors, dirt tracks, and many others, touching virtually every county in the state. How big is that impact? Well, a study released just last year pegged the impact of IMS alone at more than $1 billion to the Indiana economy. More than half of that total, $566 million, generated during the month of May last year. It is also estimated that IMS is responsible for nearly 8,500 full-time equivalent jobs statewide. And a man who knows full well about the economic impact of motorsports and the Indianapolis 500 on the Indiana economy, Indianapolis Motor Speedway President Doug Bowles. Doug, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, happy to be here. A little bit of rain, but hopefully we get rid of that, right?
We'll get rid of that for the month of May. It's here. First of all, the impact. You know, we talk a lot about it. And a year ago, you unveiled an economic impact study that we just talked about, $1 billion just from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Put into perspective how much not only this place, but motorsports in general means to the Indiana economy.
It's huge for our Indiana economy, and obviously this is the anchor tenant in Indiana in terms of the economy and helping drive it, but it's everywhere throughout our state. It's not just IndyCar racing, but it's drag racing, it's short track racing, there's some NASCAR components here. A lot of Delara's work is invested in NASCAR today, so this community, this state, really depends on motorsport for its economic health.
How would you sense the health of the motorsports industry?
I think that motorsports industry right now is maybe healthier than it's ever been. It continues to go well. Obviously, we all had to struggle through 2020, but there's this resurgence in terms of fans that come out, in terms of teams on the IndyCar side. If you look at the short tracks, you go around the state to any of the short tracks, full fields, good crowds. I think it's in good shape.
One measure of economic vitality for this place is ticket sales, and we were talking before we came on the air here. Ticket sales this year looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're actually up on last year today as we stand here by 15,000 units, and that just says an awful lot about our fans. The fans for the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway continue to be our most passionate evangelists to make this place grow. I think Roger Penske buying it, the investment he's put into the customer experience, has really made it easy for fans to say, hey, come on friends, come on family, I want to introduce you to the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's been outstanding.
Let's talk about that investment because it does continue here year after year. What are fans going to see who come out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this month? What are they going to see new?
So obviously, Roger bought the Speedway, closed in 2020, in January 2020. He's put about $60 million in the facility since he's purchased it, most of which is in the customer experience. So this year, if you're a GA customer, you sit on one of our spectator mounts, new video boards there. We've got a new concession partner. We're going to invest in some new concession areas. We've got a new kitchen in our quarterback club, our home and terrace club. That's something that Roger's really allowed us to do. And then just all the little things that make the customer experience better.
What is key in your view, Doug, the ultra competitive environment that you're in terms of being successful in this competitive marketplace?
Just listening to our fans and making adjustments that make the fan experience better every year. That's really what it has to be. And the fans have to know we're listening to them. We want them to have a great experience. And when there are challenges, we want them to let us know. We had some traffic challenges last year. We worked with local police and the state police. I think our traffic's going to be much better this year. Got to remember, though, you put 330,000 people in one venue at the same time and then have them leave at the same time, you're always going to have a little bit of a traffic delay.
Yeah. All right. Doug Bowles, the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Always great to see you, Doug. And we're going to have you back a little bit later in the show to talk about technology, innovation, such an important part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. including driverless cars, how autonomous vehicles and autonomous race could be part of the future here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's a little bit later in the show. Welcome back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where horsepower comes in the form of high-powered engines. But just across the Ohio River in southern Indiana, this weekend, horsepower on 4 legs, the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. How long would it take an Indy car traveling at 220 miles per hour to get to Churchill Downs? About a half an hour. We were just a stone's throw away from Churchill Downs this week in southeast Indiana, a part of the state that is undergoing a bit of a transformation. We were there for the second edition of our Engage Indiana series, which took place on the campus of IU Southeast.
After decades of quietly living in the shadow of the Louisville skyline, southeast Indiana is coming of age. A region once known for barge building is now busy building a brand in the new economy.
10 years ago, we would say southern Indiana made everything from biscuits to barges. And by 2018, we were no longer making biscuits or barges. So we were trying to find a new words, and we were making everything from bolts to bourbon. And that still exists, but now we're going to have to find that information technology words that start with B to keep that tradition going.
Facebook parent Meta's decision to locate an $800 million data center campus in Jeffersonville's River Ridge Commerce Center is part of a changing economic landscape here that includes plans by Canadian Solar for an $800 million production facility, and Cheesecake Factory picking southeast Indiana for a $74 million bakery and distribution center.
Well, with the changing economy come challenges and opportunities, talent attraction and retention, workforce, education, quality of life, all top of mind issues for regional leaders who assembled for our second Engage Indiana event at IU Southeast.
The biggest thing we're facing right now are offering the quality of life services that for talent attraction and retention, to get people to come to want to live there, stay there. And we're ahead of that. Our housing's through the roof. We have a great diversity of housing coming along, support those businesses, provide the labor they need. But we've got to stay ahead of it.
The equation really is about creating pathways for today's learners, because we also know that many of our high school partners are offering dual credit. So we have to ensure that those credits that they're earning as high school students continue to apply at Ivy Tech, here at IU Southeast, but also at Hanover. And I can tell you that we're working on some pretty exciting partnerships that we'll be announcing coming up between and among the higher ed entities. What we want to do is expand offerings.
As neighboring Louisville prepares for its busiest tourism season ever, fueled by the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby and the PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club, southeast Indiana is looking to cash in. Major infrastructure improvements and quality of life projects have already made New Albany a dining and entertainment destination in the region. Longer term, ambitious plans have been unveiled for the former Jeff Boat manufacturing site along the Ohio River in Jeffersonville, all viewed as building blocks for growing population in the region.
This is a great place to live, and it's a great place to raise a family, and people who have moved to southern Indiana to join our company have remarked that they've liked it even better than they did when they first came, and I think that's a real testimony to the quality of life that we have here, but we've got more work to do.
And thanks to everyone in southeast Indiana for hosting us for what was really a great event. Let's send it back to the studio now and Mary Rachel Redmond, who has all of the business headlines from around the state. Mary Rachel.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
We begin with positive signs for Eli Lilly. Lilly reporting strong demand for diabetes drug Mounjaro and weight loss drug Zepbound, helping to push first quarter profits to a whopping 67%. Lilly posting a nearly $2.5 billion profit based on sales of those two drugs between January and March. Zepbound, which launched in November, on pace to become Lilly's next big blockbuster drug. Workers in Gibson County will soon help Toyota produce electric vehicles. The company investing nearly $1.5 billion into its Princeton plant to accommodate the added production. The battery pack assembly line is set to start next year and create around 340 jobs. Well, coming up next, we'll be right back.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
Taylor University has launched its largest capital campaign in school history. The private school in Upland wants to raise more than $500 million. So far, they're more than halfway to that goal. Taylor's president tells Inside Indiana Business that they welcomed their largest incoming class last year. Taylor intending to use the money to add scholarships, invest in academic programming, and expand facilities to support growth. And the winner is 18 tech entrepreneurs and companies from across Indiana heard those words at TechPoint's 25th annual Mira Awards last weekend. Mira, it's a red carpet dress for success gathering of who's who at Indiana's version of the Oscars of tech. Among the winners this year, Indianapolis-based Authentics, which won for Best Tech Company of the Year for its healthcare software platform. Perhaps one of the most memorable Mira winners, Luke Zhang. He left China at the age of 16 to chase the American dream, and it's been a tough journey.
Gosh, this is so hard. This is why I love Indiana. Courageous by choice, baby. Even though I was multiple state and national champion for math science programming, I was disqualified to represent US nor China to compete in the international level due to my residency.
Luke Zhang, senior data scientist at Indianapolis-based Resolutant, accepting Mira's Resilience of the Year award. Let's head back out to Gerry at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with a look at how the party of the month of May is fueling big-time energy and impact for the community.
All right, Mary Rachel, thank you. Well, you might say that Rev is the greatest spectacle in food and entertainment. A big party bringing together Indiana's best chefs, auto racing's biggest names, celebrating the month of May in Indianapolis, all culminating with thousands of Revers dancing the night away right here at the start-finish line at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But beyond the party, there is a serious mission behind Rev. Funds raised from the event go to support Indiana University Hospital's trauma and critical care services. And Rev's impact is reaching even beyond that. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta has that story.
Thanks, Gary. Doctors here at IU Health Methodist noticed some of their patients were battling hunger, so they created the concept of food lockers to help. And now an IndyCar connection is adding some horsepower with protein.
We had a patient that came in for complex surgery and they only had milk in the fridge. And we discharged them home to milk in the fridge.
The patient was one of many who inspired IU Health nurses and doctors to build the Nutrition Hub.
We felt that food insecurity was the right place to work, particularly in Marion County where 30% rates of food insecurity can persist. And nutrition is the foundation of all of health.
And so we open it up and it has the groceries in there, they have their milk.
A food pantry of the future. Anyone who is battling hunger and lives in the same zip code as Methodist Hospital can use the food lockers for free. Neighbors order their groceries online and the items are loaded into the lockers, each one a mini fridge or freezer to store the freshest items. The person zaps a QR code on their phone
and it pops open for them and they get their food out of there.
And now a major victory for the Nutrition Hub inspired by the month of May. Good Ranchers is donating $25,000 of protein to the food lockers. That's more than 1,000 pounds of meat. The name may sound familiar. Good Ranchers sponsors Team Penske driver Scott McLaughlin, who won at Barber just last weekend. The young Texas-based company sources meat from only American farms and delivers it directly to the customer's door.
We're not mass producing, like you said, for the grocery store. We're taking a restaurant approach to where like every cut is supposed to be pristine. It's supposed to be handled with the absolute care. And coming from farms that have really great practices, pasture raised, grass fed, grain finished, high quality.
And it was a party that led to the Food Locker's biggest donation to date.
Rev as the party of the year really is the must-have ticket in Indianapolis for any kind of event outside of the race itself, I think.
Rev raises money for the IU Health Foundation, which paid for the Nutrition Hub. Last year at Rev, Good Ranchers got to know Indy and the vision for IU Health's Food Lockers.
And when we heard about this Nutrition Hub, about giving people quality food in times when they really need it most, maybe a moment around a table, whatever's bringing them to that Nutrition Hub, we wanted to be a part of that.
Stocking the Food Lockers with top quality meat is not only a win for flavor, but also health. Good Ranchers meat has no mRNA vaccines or antibiotics.
They're going to really, really love it, and it probably will get us lots more neighbors onto the program, because when they have good things happening, they don't hesitate to spread the word.
A second storage area is already stocked, hoping to serve even more neighbors as Good Ranchers is beefing up the meat supply.
But also to have that lasting impact through the hub of family after family, meal after meal. We don't take that privilege lightly, and so we're always super excited to be a part of helping people come together and really make memories around great food.
The Nutrition Hub is serving 20 neighbors now, and there are plans to add more. And each neighbor can order up to 150 pounds of groceries per week. Gary, back to you.
All right, Kylie, great report on a great event with big impact here in the community. Coming up next, driverless cars, just part of high-tech automotive innovation unfolding here at the racing capital of the world. IMS President Doug Bowles rejoins us with a look at that. That's when we come back. Well, welcome back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and our Business at the Brickyard special. This place answers to a number of names. The Brickyard, the world's greatest race course, the racing capital of the world. You could also call it incubator of automotive innovation. Since that first race in 1911, technology and innovation really have been hallmarks of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Numerous breakthroughs here have translated into our daily driving experience. The rear view mirror, seat belts, tire technology, front wheel drive, just to name a few of the advancements with links to IMS. And the innovation is not slowing down. In fact, there are indications it is accelerating. Speedway President Doug Bowles rejoins me now with more on that. And Doug, first of all, from a technology standpoint, the car is going to be lighter this year.
The car is going to be lighter that runs the Indianapolis 500 because of the hybrid engine or the hybrid unit that's going to be in the Indy car starting later this summer. There's some components that were lightened, so we'll be about 30 pounds lighter in May, which means the speed should be up.
That's good. Technology innovation, as mentioned a moment ago, part of the DNA here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, really from the very beginning. Talk about the importance of innovation and that part. That's really part of the IMS brand.
It is. Carl Fisher and his partners built this place to test the new technology of the day back in 1909, and that was the automobile. So the fact that we continue to test it, whether it's through mobile devices or some of our cellular partners that are really helping us, or through the Indy Autonomous Challenge, this place is still being used to test new technology.
You mentioned the Indy Autonomous Challenge, and that is really forward-looking technology that you're looking at now. They're going to be back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway again. Talk about this. Driverless cars is crazy, but it's reality.
It is, and as the promoter of the Indianapolis 500, I love the fact that there are drivers in our cars. So I think we're a long way from having an Indy 500 this way, but what's going on through the state of Indiana, through the Indy Autonomous Challenge, is we're really trying to showcase what we do here in Indiana. Technology is so important to our economy, and we are a leader, not just in the U.S., but globally, in using the Indy Autonomous Challenge race cars powered by normal racing engines, but the brains of it are computers that university students and high school students do. They come out here and compete, and it really brings the best and brightest engineers here to Indiana and also showcases what we can do in Indiana as a technology state.
Talk a little bit about the event itself, because you mentioned it brings the best and brightest teams, individuals from all over here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You talk about an incubator of innovation. That really hits it on the mark.
It really is, and we had an event here, shortly after Roger bought this Speedway, and this is sort of the next round of the Indy Autonomous Challenge and having it here. But it's universities from all over the world that show up here, and they go out on track, and these cars go out and compete against each other. And the cars have to they have to be able to predict what another car is going to do. It's really fascinating stuff. Purdue University has a team in it. It's just really a fascinating way to use this facility, but also to really talk about these are the brains in terms of students of the next generation, and we want them to come and locate here in Indiana.
You talked about this a moment ago, but technology, talent, attraction, and retention in the state of Indiana, trying to get those best and brightest here. We look at the evolving Indiana economy in terms of electric vehicles and semiconductors, microelectronics. This, what we're talking about here, fits right in with it. It is kind of a connector for that.
It is 100% a connector for that, and that's really one of the things we've really tried to do here at the Speedway. We're a racetrack, but when we make decisions on events to host here, it's not just how many people can we get in the grandstands, but how is that event helping the greater economy of the state of Indiana, and the Indy Autonomous Challenge certainly does that.
Doug Bowles, president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you much more this month.
Absolutely.
All right, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside Indiana Business, a special Business at the Brickyard edition. We'll be here the entire month of May. That's it for this week. We'll leave you with some images from the world's greatest race course. I'm Gerry Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.